Go ahead and thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening to all of our UAPB, AM&N alumni. I am so glad to have you on, and I am ready to inform you on what is going on with our Alumni Association. We are doing this in hopes that you are more informed and prepared for your planning as you go forth in January with your chapter meeting and all the duties and responsibilities you have. We also know that people always have questions about our activities, our fundraising, our staff, and what we're doing with our office on the board of directors. And so we felt like this was an amazing way to give you the information straight from those leads and our chairs. And so that way, if you have questions, here is the opportunity to ask. I do realize that this is December, it's in the midst of holidays and parties, so we won't be long, but we will give you a time at the end to ask questions and to hopefully get the answers that you need. Again, I do realize that in January, we will start back meeting with our chapters, and we want to make sure that you have all the information you need to have an amazing 2025 with your chapter planning. So we will start now with a quick prayer from Board of Director Tyree Webster. And so Tyree, if you're able to open us up with prayer, we'll get started with our agenda.
Yes, ma'am, Madam President. Family, it's great to see you on this call. So I'm going to share with you a brief prayer that one of my evening prayers I love so much. I want to share with you. Heavenly Father, you continually grant us the privilege to come to you with our sorrows, troubles, and needs, with our questions, doubts, and weaknesses. You promise to hear our prayers and to answer them in your wisdom and love. Enable us to pray earnestly and trustfully. Lead us to listen and learn from your holy word that we may grow in Christian faith and joyful service. Bring us to repentance, shower us with forgiveness, and renew us with eternal life. As we lay down to sleep, keep us safe, provide rest for our bodies and minds, and restore our souls unto salvation. We pray in the name of Jesus Christ, your Son, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Board of Director Tyree, for that prayer. So before we get started, I just want to give you a few reminders. We're asking that everyone on our call stays on mute until it's time for question and answers. Not only will that allow everyone on the call to be able to hear the information presented, we want to respect your privacy and anything that you have going on in the background at your house or in your job. So just remember to stay on mute, and then when it's time for question and answers, we will allow that at the end. If you have a question while someone is presenting and you don't want to forget it or want to make sure that we ask, you can go to the chat at the bottom of your screen and just put your question in. I'm asking our recording secretary, LaDonna Hendricks, to monitor that, and so that we don't miss any questions, we will ask her to do so. And then at the end, our presenters will be able to answer questions. So that's where we are. A few things that we're going to cover tonight, just so that you know and you can start thinking. We will have a financial report from our treasurer, Mr. Otis Williams. We will have a membership update from Board of Director Jennifer Trice. We will have information presented by our Board of Director Kamisha Freeman on our new level of giving and membership, and that's called the Pride. And some of you have already heard about that during homecoming, and a few of you have already said, yes, I want to enter the Pride, and so we're happy about that. And then we will move on to recruitment and retention and how that looks for the student and how that connects with our Alumni Association. And we actually have the staff from that department on, and so they will present during that time. We will have an update about our Alumni Center and the giving that we need to have to make that groundbreaking happen. And so Board of Director Phillips Williams will give that. And then we will have an update on our 50 Under 50 campaign. And so many of you had questions and so excited about that. So Dr. Ashia Muhammad, who is also a board of director, will present on that. And then we will talk about our leadership development. And under that, that's where our summer conferences fall. And board of director Tahira Buford, who led our last summer workshop, will present on that. Our director, Dr. Chandra Washington, will talk to us about our dire needs and just other office announcements and staff announcements. And so she will be on to present on that. And then I will update you sometime tonight just on where we are with our Chancellor Search Committee. And so if anything, any topic that I did not discuss and you have a question about it, again, we will have a little time for Q&A, but you can also put it in the chat. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our financial report. Chanel, did you allow for the share screen option?
Yes.
And so presenters, if there's something that you want to share or you need Chanel to pull up, please let us know and we will have that pulled up. But we will have our treasurer, Mr. Otis Jones, present tonight.
Okay, Madam President and fellow members, good evening. Again, my name is Otis Jones, and I just provide a few financial highlights for the current year through November 30th. In regards to in regards to funds collected, I cover a few different categories. And the first one is the chapter assessment category. We had 20 chapters that paid their assessment. We collected a total of $5,000. The assessment is $250 for each chapter. We had 17 board members that paid their assessment, and we collected $4,250 through November. We had 243 members that paid the regular dues, the $50 dues, for a total collected of $12,150. And we have life membership dues collected of $12,700. That's about 45 individuals that paid life membership dues or upgraded their dues. And one note about the life membership dues: these funds cannot be used for regular operations. We can only remit those funds to a life membership investment fund, but we can use the earnings off those funds if need be. The next level or category given is what we call the donor clubs. There are 4 different donor clubs, and we've collected $11,302.65 through those clubs. We had 12 individuals that made contributions to the different clubs. And then we have general donations. We collected $23,435.53 in general donations. We had a one-time donation from the Judith Storm Freeman Trust, $22,410.53 during the year. So that was the majority of the funds coming in that category. And the last area that I cover is the homecoming activities. This is one of our major fundraisers, if you will, the luncheon and the ad booklet. In the luncheon receipts, I showed that we sold 381 tickets for a total of $28,575. We had expenditures of $24,569. So we had a net profit, if you will, from the luncheon of about $4,000. And the ad booklet is really the money maker. We had $21,450 in ad receipts. We expended about $9,607, $9,608. We had net profit from that ad booklet of $11,842. Total operating receipts was $71,985.42. And again, the life dues collected, that $12,700, is not included in the $71,985.42 because we cannot use those funds for operations. So we received about $72,000 in operating funds during 2024 through November. It takes about $75,000 to run the office annually. So you can see we're sort of operate at a deficit, in a deficit position. So we really looking at ways to get the operating funds up, and others will talk about some of the initiatives that are going forward in those areas. But just in summary, because of the leadership of the president and the other board members and the vision and ingenuity of operating funds, raising activities have been implemented and will be aggressively pursued. But just a reminder, we need you all's continued support to keep the office going. Again, it takes about $75,000 annually to operate the office, so we have to try to keep those at least that amount of money flowing through the office for operations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Treasurer Jones. Again, if anyone has questions about what he presented, feel free to go ahead and put them in our Q&A, and we'll make sure at the end of the night, our secretary reads those out, and the presenters that are on will give you those answers, okay? Thank you so much for that. So we're going to move right along to our second. So you heard where we are as far as finances. So I made sure to put our membership and our new level of giving, which is different from a life, where this is going to be a little different, the pride. And so I wanted to make sure that you heard those immediately following the financial report and how much it costs for us to run that office every year, how much we need, and really how much we need your support. And when I say you, I mean you, your chapter, your circle of Golden Lion friends. We need everyone's support. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone can do the job way better than us from their living room. And I know you know what I'm talking about, but this is where we need their support, is their financial giving, their time, and their ties. So we will have Ms. Jennifer Trice, who is a board of director and on the membership committee, to give this report.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, President Thompson, for allowing us to come before the association and the full membership to discuss the topic of membership. I'm not sure if Dr. Washington has a copy of the report. Dr. Ruth Jones explained that we did not necessarily have to present numbers or present a file today, but we can make the drive or the document available if anyone wants it after the session is over, if that's okay. So I wanted to first start out with saying that UAPB has graduated over 30,000 students. And so that's remarkable. We're a historically Black university. Thank you. And if you'll, I'm sorry, my display popped up. And so right now we're talking about paid memberships, and we're looking at an aggregate of when we started to bring forward totals, and that would have been in January of 2021. So in January of 2021, we looked at what we had paid and what we have on our books. It's important to note that the University of Arkansas system will say, how many alumni members do you have supporting you? And so at that time, we could report that annual members for that, from that time period forward, we had 243 annual members. Now, again, we've graduated over 30,000 students. And this is UAPB. I do not believe that these numbers include AM&N. And at that time, so right now in 2024, our current numbers for 2024 are 243 annual members. That's a yearly membership. And then there are the categories of lifetime members. Right now in 2024, we had 16 new Silver Life members, 4 new Golden Life members, 12 new Platinum Life members, 3 Diamond Life members, and very encouraging 20 members who joined the Pride. And that level of membership was just introduced at homecoming. So we're very encouraged to see those numbers as they actually exceed all the other life memberships for the year of 2024. So one of the things that we want to note to the association, to the full body, is that everything is going up. Our national membership dues have remained at $50. I think I know for the last 16 years since I've been participating at the board level. Because of that, the membership committee has determined that we will increase annual membership dues. That means you're not in the life category, from $50 to $75 in 2025. So in 2025, January, your annual membership dues will be $75. Now, at the same time, we will leave the lifetime membership goals at the same levels. So the $3,000, $1,000, and the difference that you pay to join the Pride, all of that remains the same. One of the things that we want to see happen is the numbers to increase on life memberships, because that shows off who's supporting the association at the national level when we make any suggestions to corporations as well as the University of Arkansas system. That being said, we also need you participating at your local level. So that one of the reasons we want to move forward with why you want to join the National Association, we make a difference. We do have some opportunities that we are researching for local businesses that will provide benefits to us in the area with local businesses such as hotels. There's some new hotels being created for Pine Bluff specifically, but also throughout the state of Arkansas. What the membership committee has talked about is if they offer it to the other universities in the university system, we want them to offer it to UAPB alumni as well. One of the other things we want to do for what your membership dues help fund is scholarships for UAPB students. And then, you know, you're the first to know what's going on firsthand with the university. Everybody's thinking Facebook is telling you what's going on. No, you get the emails first when you're a member of the National Alumni Association. So you have a firsthand knowledge of what's going on, not only with the association, but what we know is that's going on with the university. When you know what's going on, it also provides an opportunity for you to have a voice. So just like tonight, you have an opportunity to drop your information in the chat. You also have the opportunity to say to your local chapter president, I have this concern. And then it also builds your sense of pride, you know, which Board of Director Freeman will talk about. You know, Lions are a pride. And so we want to take this opportunity while everybody's jumping on the HBCU bandwagon, is to show the pride that we've always had for the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Again, initiatives that are coming forth or that already exist for regular members as well as our lifetime members is the opportunity for a discount at the university bookstore. We do know that there's some contract negotiation or contract information that we need to solidify, but we are in conversation with that. We do offer a membership card and a lapel pin for the life memberships. And then again, as I said, local discounts at alumni-owned businesses. So once you have your membership card, it's going to be an electronic card. If you request a physical card, I think we can make that accommodation as well. I want to end with our 2025 goals for membership and the challenge that we're making from the membership committee to the alumni, and that's to increase each level of membership by 25 members. That's a low goal. We're going to graduate more than 25 alum in December. So what we're looking at is saying, okay, we get those 25, but we need 25 who graduated prior to 2024 to join in all of the categories. And then we also have members who are current members in a silver level. We want you to upgrade your next level. Now, we do understand, and we've said it before, we know the economy is switching, things are changing. There are opportunities for you to upgrade. Take your time. We want you to stay around. If you upgrade from silver to gold, make sure you do that, but your goal should always be to the top tier. At one point it was platinum and diamond, now it's the pride. And so you'll hear more about that, but those are our goals for the year 2025, and that's the status of the Alumni Association memberships for 2024. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you so much, Board of Director Jennifer. If, again, you have any questions, go ahead and put those in the chat so that we can get those ready and to be able to ask her at the end. So your takeaway for that is our Alumni Association dues, just the general, the $50, they're going to go on up to $75. You can't do hardly anything with $50 anymore. We spend more than that during homecoming going to lunch. So we're going to go up to $75. Of course, this will go out via email to all of our chapter presidents and to all of our alumni so that they know. So go ahead and start telling your members, your fellow members, to get their $75 ready. Okay, our next report is going to come from our new level, and it's the Pride. And I see Board of Director Kamisha Freeman on. Let's go.
All right. Thank you, Madam President. I'm excited to talk to you tonight about the Pride. It is our highest level of membership, and you heard Board Member Otis state that it takes about $75,000 to operate, and right now we don't have that. So we're looking at a way to increase our operating expenses. And the way of doing that is we're recommending using the funds from the Pride to help with our operating expenses. Now, what is the Pride? It is the highest level of membership. Right now, when you donate or when you become a member, a lifetime member, that money is good for that year. What the Pride is offering is a continuous level of giving. It is at the $2,500 level. And do we have the screen that shows the different levels? If not, we'll share the screen, but it's at the highest level is $2,500. So if you are at a diamond level now, you would just pay the difference of $1,500. If you're at the $750 level, you'll just pay the difference. And then it requires you, once you pay that $2,500 within that year, each year you'll pay $500. Why is this necessary? Because again, the money is only good for that year. We need to find a way to foster continuous giving. And if we create this continuous giving, we're not going to have to create these other ways to obtain funds for the organization. So what will you get from it? You'll get a cardigan. You'll get a patch each year that you stay active. You'll get recognized at national alumni events. You'll get a commemorative photo at the alumni luncheon. And over time, we'll continue to add to that. As of right now, we have about 20 people that have signed up for the Pride. We have about 10 more on the list that have committed to joining the Pride. But if we have 20, let's say we have 20 diamond members and 20 new, that's $80,000 that we can make just next year by September 1. And if it takes $75,000 to operate, we can make $80,000 next year for the Pride. So it is a way that we're not having to create another avenue. We can use our membership to increase our funds to operate the organization, and then we can make that commitment of $500 each year to continue operating the organization. You don't have to pay the $2,500 at once. You do have to pay $250 to enter. So again, if you're a Diamond Life member, you'll pay the difference of $1,500. You can start tonight by contributing $250. If you're a Platinum Life, it's $1,750. If you're a Gold, you're at $2,000. Silver Life, $2,200. You're only paying the difference. And again, the difference have to be paid by September 1 in order to be recognized at homecoming. It's not anything new. We're just trying to find a way to increase our membership giving and just create a way to foster continuous giving for the Pride. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Board of Director Kamisha. You will hear a lot more about the Pride. We will send out information. We've already been posting it. I believe emails have already gone out, and this was introduced during homecoming. So if it went a little fast, or if you have more questions, feel free to always reach out. We'll make sure that you have Kamisha Freeman, the Board of Director Kamisha Freeman's information, so you can contact her directly. And then she and I have agreed to come or to join in on meetings starting in January for all the chapters just to discuss the pride because we've already received quite a bit of questions about it. And so we want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable with this new level of giving. So if you want us to come or if you think that would be helpful, please make sure that we know when your January and February meetings are. And she's already agreed to hop on those with me virtually, just so that we can give that information. I want to address something really quickly because I've already received a couple of texts and I see a question in our group meet about the increase for the $50 to $75. Mr. Duffy, you are absolutely correct. The committee cannot just recommend it and we say, go for it. This was actually recommended by the membership committee to the National Alumni Association board, the executive committee first and to our board. And then we discussed it and approved it as a full board. It was done months ago, I believe, more like in the spring, but we decided to roll it out at the end of the year so that we could start our year in 2025 fresh with those new dues. So it's not just a committee recommendation or a decision, but the National Alumni Association board. So thank you for that question. Very good question. Okay. Y'all pretty quiet, so these must be amazing reports, and so I appreciate that. But again, if you have questions, keep them coming in the chat. And yes, it will be effective starting in January. The 1st of January, we will start our new annual membership dues at $75. So that's why we're telling people in December to give them the heads up, and we will send it out in writing to chapters and to our alumni. And then starting in January, that's when we'll start the year fresh with the $75. Okay, so I'm going to move on and thank you for these questions and we'll make sure that we get them answered. So we're going to go on to recruitment and retention. And I believe I saw the staff from that office on Mr. Chris Riggins. If he's on, he can come off mute. We asked them to come on because retention is very big. First of all, recruiting of our students is very big. But once we get them on campus, we need to retain them. And although that's the university job, the Alumni Association has a big responsibility. And all of us as alumni have a responsibility to recruit and to retain students. And so we actually have a board of director, Joy Matthews, who leads that committee for us in connection with the university. So Mr. Riggins, if you can share where we are with our numbers and recruiting and our plan, and then I believe Director Chandra will discuss our plans from Joy. So Mr. Riggins.
Okay, great. Thank you, Madam President, and good evening, everybody. As stated, I am Chris Riggins, and I don't know why my light is going in and out like this, but I'm happy to be here this evening. Dr. Moses Goldman, he couldn't make it. He had another engagement. And also, I think we actually have in the meeting our director of our Office of Recruitment, Mr. Paul Person. I think he is with us, but he may not be able to come off mute because he's at another engagement himself. So, so with that being said, Ms. Joy Matthews, we did talk, I don't know, it was yesterday or day before yesterday or whatever, and we talked about, she actually emailed me last week with some certain questions. And so I don't know if at this point, if I can share my screen, Madam President.
Yes, we have given share screen, so feel free to pull up your presentation.
Okay. So there's 2 documents I want to share with you that based on the questions that Ms. Matthew was asking. So one of them was one of the questions that she had was dealing with this fall 2024 class, the total enrollment. And she asked, like, by class, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So we were able to get that information. Do I need to make this larger? Can you all see? Let me do this here.
I can definitely see it. If you can make it a little larger, that would be nice. And then we can also make sure that we send this out, Mr. Riggins, so that alumni can look at it closer.
Okay.
Mhm.
So for this fall, fall 2024, after the students dropped and some of them added and they dropped, it came out to be a little bit over 2,000. So we got about 2,500 students that actually that's in count, and you can see the breakdown, the degree seeking students. So we actually shows that we actually have freshmen at 631 and sophomores 357 and juniors 376 and seniors 437. So we can see that, but the overall enrollment at this point for this fall was 2,005. Also, it was asked, wanted to know how many we had registered for spring 2025. And this is the number here. It's showing 551. So I asked Ms. Matthews, because if I would have sent some of this document just to her, really that particular number, 551, it can come across alarming. And so I said, I can send you the data, but it'd probably be best if we can actually explain where we at and why it's that way. Okay. So you can see, so this spring for enrollment, for pre-registered students for this spring 2025, we have at this actually as of November, I think it was as of November the 14th or something like that. We were at 551 as registered, pre-registered students. Now with that 551, real quick, what I want to share, I don't know if it's going to allow me. I just changed screens. Did y'all see a different, do you see a different report at this point? Do you see something different?
You may have to unshare and reshare. It didn't change.
That's what I was thinking. All right, let me pop this one up. So I want to explain the 551 and kind of, I want to show you the historical trend on this 551. And so this document, let me try to make this look bigger here. Okay, so, all right, so what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to be able to get all of it on here, you see here, it says spring 2021, spring 2022, and it's going to be so on. So these, I'm going to reference that. I won't be able to see it as I kind of try to navigate this. But here for that first, for spring 2021, at the same time, so at November the 14th, the same time, at that point, we actually had 906 pre-registered for that particular spring semester. And then at that point, then the next year was 789. The reason why this number looks or is higher is because students, we were allowing them to register, but we was removing the hold and we were allowing them to register themselves without them actually taking care of their balances. and so that number is like that at 906, and same with the 789. Now, as this 69, you can see 697 at this point at the next spring semester, and then we actually have 826. But I wanted you all just to see, and then where we at? Yeah, and so here go to 525. So we got the 525 and the 826. I wanted you to see that trend, because when you see the historical trend on it, it's actually not as alarming. And this, we see that our students, they don't pre-register until they try to see if their past due balance is going to be helped. And so that's kind of where we at with that. So I just want to be able to show you the trend, and I don't want to send this to Ms. Matthews, and you just see that one particular number, and wonder why it's possibly so low. And Madam President, that's actually all I was asked to present on.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions? I did receive a question from you, right, Mr. Pearson, via text. It's just okay, Ms. Morton, you can go first. Maybe the same question.
Good evening. Mr. Rickens, thank you so much for coming in and giving us that information. In terms of recruiting, is there any way, two things. First, a calendar that can be shared with chapters when you all are coming into our respective cities and towns. So we'll know, and so we can support you and kind of plan accordingly. And then two, there may be students that, a lot of students sign up at recruiting events, but there may be some key students that you really need that personal touch. And if we could have a list of those students, that we can reach out to the schools via the counselor to the students, and making sure that we're touching bases with them, because you're a small staff, but that would help a lot as far as incoming students.
Yes, and I totally agree with you. That will help, and yes, we can provide that. Again, I know Mr. Person, he can't chime in, but we did talk about this. And back in the spring, I know that the Office of Recruitment provided a Office of Recruitment event calendar showing all of our events. So I was telling Miss Matthews that it would be difficult for the Office of Recruitment, the recruiters. It'd be difficult for them to share a day-to-day calendar, because if they were set to be in Memphis at White Oak, but all of a sudden the principal of the council changed the date, say, hey, we need to reschedule you. They may not think to let the alumni base know that, okay, we changed that, because they would have so much more going on. But what we can do, we can, on all of the college fairs, anytime we're going to be in a certain state or area, if it's a college fair of any type, those are set in place, and we can provide that information. And I'm talking about a year out. So my thing is, so even for fall 2025, for that particular year, spring 2026, we actually going to have our calendar completed, the recruitment calendar for events completed by the end of March. So we can give you that far in advance, but as the college fair surface, we can provide that to you as well.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing? This is Director Paul Person. Thank you, Chris, for that information as well. It's a pleasure to meet everyone this evening. Ms. Matthews, I gave her a tentative, so to speak, a skeleton recruitment outlook for this upcoming spring. So she has that information. I'm not sure when she's going to share it, but again, on my end for recruitment, I look forward to working with everyone. And my goal is whatever city that we're in, no matter local or outside of the state, we're going to reach out to that, to the head person that for each area, to let them know we will be coming in within the city or town. So that information is available now. So again, put my email in the chat. Look forward to hearing anyone you have any questions or concerns. Please reach out to me, and I look forward to working with you, because we can use every arm we can have when it comes to recruitment.
Oh,
Okay. And before you get off, Mr. Riggins and Mr. Pearson, two things. We have a question from one of our alum, Mr. Duffy. Can the alumni chapters give you a list of potential students in your areas they may have an interest in attending UAPB?
Yes,
So,
they can.
okay. And then one question that I'm getting, several people have texted me, what is your return time to get back with people? So if we call, when can they expect, or email you, when can they expect to hear back? Is it within 24 hours, 48 hours? We know that you're not always in the office, just so they'll know the best time to contact you when they have a request.
Yes, good question. And I know myself, even though I'm on the road a lot, I'm gonna have to hold myself to the ground with that. But I would say within 48 hours, we should be able to reach back. Definitely within 48 hours.
Thank you. That's appreciated.
Madam President. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
I was trying to raise my hand for some reason it's not working. But I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Pearson for coming to the Washington D.C. area to support one of our college fairs, the Alpha Street Baptist Church, which is one of the biggest college fairs in the nation. Had over 10,000 students that showed up there. But we did get a few folks to sign up to come to UAPB from that college fair. But thank you, sir. I just want to give you a public shout out for that. We will appreciate you. We will be sending you our calendar events for 2025 and 2026.
Hey, I appreciate it. It was a pleasure working with you and Mr. Knox and the whole gang. So look forward to that continued relationship.
Okay. If no one else has questions for you right at this time, I know you're at another event. You can jump off if you need to, Mr. Pearson, and Chris, if you're able to stay on, we appreciate that, just in case someone has questions at the end. Okay. And then is Director Chandra, did you get a report from Joy to report out on what we as the Alumni Association have planned for student recruitment and retention?
Yes, ma'am. So her report included what we did in the previous semester. Some of the events that we've had this year for the students, we had the Founders Day Senior Reception, and this was an informal event that gives seniors the opportunity to reflect on their time at the institution, and it is also a time for them to engage with alumni. We also hosted the Next Chapter event, and that is where graduating seniors are encouraged to learn about the benefits of joining the National Alumni Association and the local alumni chapter as they transition from students to alumni. We also host a student mixer where we coordinated and collaborated with Student Affairs to support the homecoming bonfire. This event did allow us to reconnect with alumni as well as students. And then we also hosted a Can We Talk event. And the purpose of this event was to engage with students outside of the classroom. This was in December. And it was, the goal was to listen and to build trust and relationship with the students. And all of these were highlighted on our social media, and all of them, we also try to send out emails in advance for the events that alumni can also participate in. So what she is currently doing, in addition to building relationships with the students, she's working with the Office of Recruitment and the Director of Recruitment, and to stay abreast of the enrollment trends. And she also would like for anyone who would like to be a part of the Student Recruitment and Retention Committee to please reach out to her. And I will put her email address in the chat.
Okay, thank you so much, Director Washington, and we will definitely come back to you for your report at the end. So we're going to move along, and Dr. Washington brought up a good point. So the membership committee, the summer conference committee, also our the Pride and the student retention and recruitment, we ask every year for alumni to join committees. And so if you have those great, awesome ideas and you're telling everybody during your Thanksgiving dinner how we can be better and what we should do, this is your opportunity to share your talents and your strengths. So please don't keep those ideas to yourself or post them on social media. Feel free to go ahead and get a part of these committees. And so if there's a committee that you want to be a part of, and I listed those, I just read off those committees that are open, and that's the summer conference, our membership, the Pride, and the Alumni Center. Please contact Dr. Washington and she can get you connected with the chair of that committee. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to our Alumni Center with Mr. Williams, Board of Director Philip Williams.
Thank you, Madam President, and fellow board members, good evening. Fellow alums, I appreciate the opportunity to update you all on the National Alumni Center campaign. As I am Philip Williams and I co-chair the National Alumni Center campaign. I'm going to attempt to share my screen here, if I can. Let's see. You all tell me if give me just a moment and see if. Okay. Are you all able to view the report that's on the screen?
I don't see anything.
No.
Just see you.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna have to speak to it. If I could ask the office if you could, Chanel or Dr. Washington, if you could pull that up for me, I appreciate it. But I'll speak real briefly and give a high level view of the report. Let me stop sharing. So currently, our goal, just to back up, the Alumni Center campaign goal is to raise $2.8 million to build a 10,000 square foot facility. And currently, as of December the 6th of this year, we are at $766,492.47. And that's broken down in terms of cash received, 636,000, uncollected pledges. That amount is 129,911. Now, what our area of focus, as you can see, we have a tremendous amount of work to do to reach that goal of $2.8 million. But, you know, we've had some challenges, and where our focus right now is going to be closing the gap with the naming opportunities. And there are a number of naming opportunities, and these are the big dollar naming opportunities. The second area of focus is that there are a number of pledges that have been made. As I mentioned, the uncollected pledges total to be 129,000. So the focus for the first quarter of 2025 is to get these uncollected pledges closed out by the first quarter of 2025. So that's going to be a hyper focus to get that done. And in terms of really engaging with our alumni, as you heard board member Jennifer Trice mention, that we have over 30,000 graduates, and that's, you know, primarily UAPB, not to mention all AM&N. Right now, today, our total number of donors is less than 1,000. So where is this going to come from? Is really expanding our reach and engagement is how we really plan to close the gap. Again, we roughly have 980 donors to date. So these are some area of focus in terms of expanding and increasing our social media engagement, you know, expanding our reach and engagement, and really reigniting the call out committee. Now, I know a number of you are on this platform and call this evening that were part of our call out committee, which was very instrumental and quite effective in terms of one-on-one engagement. So that is something that we're going to reignite. So I'm asking, my ask of you, chapter presidents and members on the line, if you all were involved in that, or if you would love to get involved with that, again, contact us, because that is something that we intend to reignite the first of 2025. When is this campaign expected to conclude? The end of 2025, December 31st, 2025 is right now is the date that we have chosen to end this campaign. Now, you've heard, many of you have heard me say in the past, we will build a National Alumni Center. I'm giving you the end date, and you see the figure that we have to reach of $2.8 million. And we're sitting at roughly 766,000. So we have some ways to go. I'm confident that we can get it done. Even if we fall short, we can do a modified version, not a 10,000 square feet. These are some things that have been discussed. I know we may have questions at the end. What if we have not raised that? So we'll, when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it then. But I'm confident with the things that we have in place in terms of a strategy to close out, that we can hit this 2.8 million at the end of December 2025. Thank you, Madam President and board members. I'll entertain questions if there are some.
Thank you so much, Board of Director Phillip. We were unable to open up your report. However, for all of those that are on the call, we'll make sure that we send out a packet of those flyers that we're sharing tonight, the information that Mr. Riggins and his office share, and then, of course, what Board of Director Phillip Williams shared. That way you have all the information that you need to review. And if you have a question afterwards, you can, and then we will ask that you share it with your fellow chapter members and other alumni. We want to make sure they have the accurate, most up-to-date information. Okay, we are going to move right along to the newest and very successful campaign that we did in 2024 with Dr. Ashia Muhammad, who is also a board of director. And this will be about our 50 under 50 campaign. So Dr. Ashia.
Thank you so much, Madam President. Yes, 50 under 50. So last year in October, we took it to the board to vote on the new campaign that we were interested in bringing forth to the Alumni Association. And that was celebrating 50 under 50 outstanding young alumni. And so once we got the board approval, we went forward with selecting our honorees for the inaugural cohort. So a lot of the background work for that, again, started last year, October, November, and then we released the final selection of individuals in April, and the fundraising campaign actually started on our 151st Founders Day. Now, the qualifications to be included in the 50 under 50 Outstanding Young Alumni are candidates have to be a member of the National Alumni Association. They have to be 50 years or under at the time of nomination, and they must demonstrate outstanding accomplishments in their personal careers, community service, support of the university and the Alumni Association. They also have to be goodwill ambassadors, meaning that they do their best to actually speak positive about the association and the university. And more importantly, they must be willing to raise a minimum of $1,000 each so that we can get to the $50,000 goal. Now, one of the reasons why we felt that this initiative was very important was it offers us the opportunity to recognize some of our younger alumni and to use this as a recruitment and retention tool for them to become a part of or stay a part of the National Alumni Association, to join committees and continue to do the good work. And again, to raise a minimum of $50,000 for the total campaign for the association. As we heard earlier, this year, we are needing more money for the association to run. And so the proceeds from 50 Under 50 are split between operations and the Dire Need Scholarship Fund. So throughout the campaign, which you all really supported, it was extremely successful, and we're so grateful for that. We raised $10,000 in the first 48 hours. I believe the first 2 weeks we had hit 25,000. By our first 50 days, we had hit 50,000, and by the end of the campaign, we had reached $108,000. So we actually doubled our expectation of that $50,000 goal in the first year. And so we are just extremely excited about what that campaign was able to do. And so now we are moving forward and we are getting ready for our beta cohort. And so you will see a nomination form that will be sent out in the next couple of weeks. So if you have someone that you think is an outstanding 50 Under 50 person that we should consider for this honor, you will have the opportunity to nominate them, and that selection will go to the committee, and the committee will vote on all of the different nominations that we receive. Now, let me say this, because we received a bunch of emails and calls and just conversation about the selection process. Please keep in mind that as it relates to alumni under 50, there's about 13,000. So roughly 13,000 alumni under the age of 50, and we are recognizing 50 of those each year. So each year there's going to be some people on the list that may not have made the list that you think should have, and we will continue to recognize them, similar to the Hall of Fame. We started our Hall of Fame campaign in 2010, and here we are 14 years later, and we are still recognizing outstanding alumni. We will do the same thing with the outstanding young alumni as relates to 50 Under 50. We just know that each year we will honor at least 50 of them. So if by chance there's someone that you thought should have been on the list and they don't make it, give us time. We will do our best to make sure that we are recognizing the best and the brightest that our university has. And that is all I have for my report, Madam President.
Thank you so much, Dr. Muhammad, for that report. We look forward to that nomination form going out. And so we'll probably try to put it together with the packet that Dr. Washington is going to go out. So you will get the flyers, you will get a link to, I'm assuming there's going to be a link, Dr. Muhammad, for them to fill out their recommendation. And I love that she stressed. That's just what it is, a recommendation. So go ahead and complete it, but knowing, just like we do the Hall of Fame, those names and those recommendations still have to be vetted, and everyone won't make it. But I think that's an awesome problem to have, that we have so many people that we want to be recognized. And that's just saying a lot about our alumni, that we have so many alumni that are doing amazing things. I appreciate you and your committee, Dr. Muhammad, for bringing that idea and really working it to its fullest potential. One thing that she said that I want to make sure that is stressed, because she stressed this to me on several occasions, that, I mean, she was very just, Tanisha, they can be amazing, but they have to be able to raise that money. Because if you have them and they can't raise but $100, that's not going to make a successful campaign. So keep that in mind when you're going forward with your recommendations. Do they have the network, and are they able to ask? Will they do the ask? Because it's important. That's the whole premise behind the ideas to, we want to recognize, but it's also a fundraiser. And so Dr. Rashid is very serious about this fundraiser. And so they have to be able to raise the money, and just keep that in mind. So thank you so much. We look forward to the next cohort. We're going to move on to our leadership development, which also is responsible for our summer conference with our board of director, Tahira Buford.
Thank you so much, Madam President, and good evening to all the members of the association. I am Tahira Buford, member of the Board of Directors and Chairman of the Leadership Development Committee. I am excited to announce that in 2025, we will be in person for our summer conference. Additional details in terms of location and dates will be provided at a later date. We're hoping to get this out to you within the first couple of quarters of 2025 so that you can prepare yourself as well as members of your chapter to attend. So more information to come there. In addition, the Leadership Development Committee is also excited to announce the continuation of our leadership workshop series. And alumni, this is going to be offered every single quarter. And it's not just for the leaders of your chapter, it's for all members within the association and members in your chapter, members that are not associated with chapters. We want to get folks connected to chapters as well. But this will be an opportunity for development for the entire chapter. Our goal on the Leadership Development Committee is to ensure that we provide a level of cultivation and support for not just our current leaders, but future leaders, leaders that are aspiring within their chapters or within the National Alumni Association. We want to provide a level of enhanced training and visibility that can improve your skills and just make your chapters more visible in the communities that you serve. So some of the potential topics for next year, again, will be around how do we strengthen our engagement with chapters across the communities that we serve. Strategic planning, alumni, is that is a very important piece of how we grow, not just within our association, but within our chapters. So we'll have some conversations and training on strategic planning and how you can develop that for your chapter. Chapter engagement strategies, we know, is a critical piece of growing your chapter, as well as communication and really just fostering a strong alumni community within the areas that you serve. Additional details on dates and times will be provided, but I am also going to put the call to action out, as Madam President stated earlier. The Leadership Development Committee is looking for you. So if you are interested in serving on this committee, please reach out to myself. I will place my email address in the chat. I also have a slide that Dr. Chandra will send out as a party favor, along with the other decks from the other presentations. But if you are interested in serving on the Leadership Development Committee, we will be happy to welcome you. If you have a passion for training and development, curating content for strengthening how we strengthen chapters, please reach out to me. We are more than happy to welcome you and work alongside you as we continue to strengthen our association and our chapters through our leadership development. Madam President, that concludes the report of the Leadership Development Committee, and I will take any questions in the chat. Alumni, again, I will place my email address in the chat.
Thank you so much, Board of Director Tahira. You really know how to sell. If I wasn't on this Board of Director, I would definitely sign up for your committee. So thank you for that. Again, she's going to put her information in the chat. And so if you're interested, reach out to her to sign up for her committee. I'm going to change up just a little bit. At first, I was going to have Dr. Chandra speak about our dire needs, but I think I'm going to go ahead and speak about the website and our chancellor search. And then Dr. Chandra will give some announcements and then also talk about the staff and what's going on in the office before we do our question and answers. So website for the National Alumni Association. As most of you know, I've heard, the Board of Directors have heard, the staff have heard, the website for the Alumni Association is down and has been down, I believe, since March. We were working very hard to develop a new website. We thought we had done our due diligence. We thought we have created the perfect website, to only find out that we had not. And so we had to go back to the drawing board, working with our committee, our technology committee, our social media committee, really trying to find the right website developer that understood our budget, but also our need and what we need our website to look like. And so after months of searching and really trying to work with what we had, we did reach out to the design group Many of you know him or know that company because they did develop and work and create our new website for the university, Myron Jackson and his team. And so he, along with our staff and our website committee that's in-house with the Alumni Association Board, have been working on creating the perfect website. We're hoping that our website is not only eye-catching, because we want to bring attention to our website and to our association, but also engaging. We want it to be user-friendly and have all the bells and whistles that we need for people to join from the website, make payments, I believe, from the website for all of our different campaigns. And so I know that we are about at the end of everything that we need to do or to give Mr. Jackson and his team to complete the website. So our hope is that our website is up and ready to go at the beginning of the year. We want to kick off our new year with that new website, being able to provide you with all the opportunities to pay, to recruit, to find out information just from the touch of your screen. So that's where we are with the website. And if you have any questions, you can put those in the chat or I'll entertain those. But we do know it's down. We're working hard to get it back up. With our website being down, I know, and the staff and the board of directors know that I'm not that tech savvy, so I don't understand it, but I know that it has happened. Our UAPB emails that our staff use and some of our board of directors was affected by the website being down. So I have asked, and I know that many of you have received a different website or different email address to use when you want to contact our staff or any of our board of directors. And so again, with the website being up, we hope that our UAPB emails are back up and running in January. I will have Dr. Chandra Washington, who is our director, put their emails in our chat just in case you don't have it and you need to contact them in the next couple of weeks. They're very responsive, and I appreciate that. They also have listed their phone numbers and hours, because I know that when you can't get a hold of people or use our website, sometimes it is frustrating and you feel lost. And so they have been very responsive through their phone, also being in the office, and then also with their different email address. So that's where we are with the website. And the second thing that I personally want to report out on is our chancellor search. So as it's been announced and stated, we know that we are on the search for a new chancellor of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. A couple months ago, the search firm was announced publicly. It was in the newspaper. I believe it was posted on social media. It was all over. And so candidates had a deadline to complete their packet and to submit those. And so with that being said, we are now in the process, the committee, of looking through those semifinalists, going through their packets, looking to find our top semifinalists. I feel like we received quite a bit of applicants. We receive quality applicants, which I'm pleased with. And so once we get through all that process, we will have a semifinalist. They will be interviewed, and then those finalists will be interviewed in person sometime. I believe it's at the end of January. And so that's where we are with that. I feel very confident that it's moving along in a positive direction. I have made every meeting that they've had. We meet monthly. We met twice in 1 month just to go over a training on how we are to receive our applications, what we're looking for. And so I have, as your representative, the alumni representative, have been able to make all of those meetings, and I plan to be on site in person whenever that's announced for those in-person interviews. So again, if you ever have any questions or any feedback, please send those to me. We took it very seriously, what you had to say and what you were requesting from our town hall to discuss the chancellor search. And so I kept those notes. I made sure that I keep them. I voice those opinions and ideas and thoughts any chance that I get. So that's where we are with our chancellor search. And so that's all I have. And again, I'm open for questions for that. And then with that being said, we're going to move on to our, okay, Ms. Morton, Yvonne Morton.
Good evening again, President Thompson. Will there be an opportunity for, once you get to the finalist stage, for us to have maybe a Zoom meeting with the finalists? Is that an opportunity for us?
So I did bring that up, not only for our alumni, but also for our students. I think they should be able to have a voice and an opinion on that. And so, Ms. Morton, I did not, for transparency, I did not get a yes. I didn't get a no either. So that is something that I will bring up again. We have a call on this Thursday for those finalists. And, I think the finalist group is about 4 to 6. We want to make sure that our alumni are able to Zoom in with them and also our students. So I will definitely bring that back up. I will advocate for that. And then as soon as we have the answer for that, we will, if that's a yes, receive some kind of invite from our office staff. So thank you for that. And I'll make sure to bring that up again on Thursday.
Thank you so much for advocating for that.
Student and alumni meeting. I think that's very important. Okay, thank you for that. Dr. Washington, are you ready to share?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam President. So tonight I will share about the Dire Needs Scholarship and just explain to you a little bit about what the process looks like and just some asks that we have of our alumni. And then I'll end. So we all know that the Dire Needs Scholarship was established so that we could help students who really are in dire need to clear their balances, whether that's to register for the next semester, to graduate, whatever it is. We do want to assist all of our scholars in being able to clear their balances when they don't have any other way to do that. So what the process looks like. The students complete an application. Once I receive the application, I reach out to the student if there are any questions, or just reach out to them to let them know that I have received the application. If a student lives in an area where a chapter exists, we will almost always reach out to that local chapter to say, hey, we have a student from your area. Do you have any scholarship funds that are remaining that you will be able to assist with? Once we do that, we also partner with other university officials to see if there are any remaining monies in any of the departments on campus that we can assist with, and then we pay their balance. So for reference, this semester, we've had about 43 applications. The asks have ranged from as little as $500 all the way up to $9,000. And last month, when I gave the executive director's report during our executive committee meeting, I actually put pen to paper. And if in the month of November, if we had awarded every student the amount that they needed, we would have depleted the Dire Needs Scholarship Fund in one fell swoop. So what you need to know is that the process can take time. Sometimes what we see is we're getting an application at the very last minute. It takes time because once I receive the application, then I also share it with President Thompson. It goes to the executive committee. So it can take time. We also need to know that if you're sending students over, please, please, please ask them to fill out the application completely. We get some applications where there is no amount that they need. Sometimes we get applications where their GPA isn't listed. And the Dire Needs Scholarship does require a minimum 2.5 GPA. Also, we've had some applications from first semester freshmen who don't have a GPA, so they're not eligible for this. And I'm sure if exceptions need to be made, maybe that would be a decision that the executive committee could make. So we have identified some opportunities. They have been discussed with our board of directors, and we are committed to making this process as efficient as possible. So one of the things that we do plan to work on for the spring semester is to have the form actually online probably a Google form, so that if someone else needs access to it, they can have it. Currently, students are filling out paper applications, and so we're having to scan them in, keep a file, share it if we need to share it. So we definitely want to do our part to decrease the office's carbon footprint, and also to make it so that the application is available even if the office is not open. I do want to report that because of your generosity today, there are 3 students who will be able to graduate at the end of this week because we were able to use Dire Needs Scholarship funds to help them. We're working on another one and working to clear their balance tomorrow. So I want to sincerely thank each of you who have donated to the fund. I spent the better part of today reaching out to chapter presidents all over the country. And I just want to say that if I called you today and we talked, I thank you so, so much for, number one, taking the call, and then for doing what needed to be done to help take care of our scholars. So does anyone have any questions about the Dire Needs Scholarship?
I don't think so, Dr. Washington, but
Okay.
I did
All
share
right.
that's what you did all day today. And if you wanted to
All
talk about, we'll have a committee possibly that's going to support with that going in 2025.
So going forward, just talking a little bit about the office. As you know, I'm still relatively new in role. We're doing our very best to be as efficient in office operations as possible. One of the things that we do ask all of the alum to keep in mind is that we are part-time employees. So the office is not open every day for 8 hours. It's not. We do our best to respond to emails. We do our best to respond and call back to voicemail messages that are left. But just keep in mind that we are part-time employees, but just know that if you have asked us to do something, that we will do it as quickly as we possibly can. One of the other things that we will be working on starting in January are additional fundraising activities. You've heard the report of the treasurer. You've heard President Thompson tell you that our desire is not to operate at a deficit. And so we have discussed some creative ways that we believe we may be able to raise funds. There was a question.
You actually have 2 questions too. The balance of the dire need. So I'm assuming how much we have for dire needs, and then also the definition of a dire needs.
Okay, so the balance of the dire need fund, I would have to defer that to Mr. Otis. I know that the last time that we looked at that number, it was before homecoming, and it was about $17,000 or $18,000. After all the reconciliation with everything after homecoming, I am not sure of what that number is, but we can get that number to you. I don't want to put him on the spot either, because I know there may still be some reconciliation that we're doing.
Correct. I will get that number and report back out to you, Ms. Washington, so you can share it.
Okay. Thank you. And what is the association's definition of dire need? Honestly, I don't know that we have a definition of dire need. That there is a defined definition that the association has. From our perspective, if a student comes to us and they need some help, we have helped students to buy a code for a book that they need for class. We're helping to pay down balances. So whatever the need is, we're trying to meet that. So I don't know that there is a standard defined a way to denote what a dire need is. But if a student needs it and they don't have it and they've exhausted every other possibility to get it, that's what I consider to be a dire need. I don't want to speak out of turn. So if there is another definition, if President Thompson or someone else would like to hop in here.
Thank you for that, Dr. Washington and Mr. Piggy. I believe you were at our last summer conference that was in person when Board of Directors LaDonna she gave a really great report. So that's a good question. Board of Director Hendricks, are you available to share just because somebody else may have that same question?
Yeah, so the Dire Needs Scholarship Fund was actually designed to help UAPB students who are in a critical financial situation. This could have been due to the student exhausting all of their financial aid. They don't have an opportunity to apply for a student loan or don't meet the qualifications, and they do not have any family support to pay their balance. So when the dire need was initially established, it was not only to assist the students with their balances at the university. There were situations where a student might have an urgent need to get home due to a family situation, books that they needed, as well as a personal situation that they may be dealing with and just needed the extra funds. So since that time when the dire need was incorporated, it's kind of evolved and it is taken on a case by case basis. We do try our best to make sure that the student has an understanding of once we award these funds, exactly how they should be applied. We also make sure that the student understands that we are going to validate the information that's being shared with us, because we just don't want to assume that we don't want to say that we don't believe them, but we do have to do some validation checks to make sure that we have all the accurate information in the event that something comes back to the National Alumni Association and we need to answer questions. I know one of the things that we discussed also during the homecoming board meeting, as well as a follow-up, is forming a committee around the Dire Needs Scholarship Fund so that we can set some criteria and document exactly what the requirements look like. Also take into consideration the student's GPA. And again, we don't want to just eliminate students who have a situation that may not be due to a balance, but again, it could be due to books. It could be due to some type of travel as they're representing the university. So we've had all these different types of requests come our way. So we want to make sure that we document that information and document criteria and requirements around the Dire Needs Scholarship going forward. And then, of course, as Dr. Washington said, formalize the application process.
That's good.
Thank you so much. Any other announcements? And I see a couple questions and I will have Dr. Chandra get into the chat and answer those. How many students are awarded funds annually? Great question, Angel. It varies. It depends on the year. This time of year, as Dr. Washington may have already explained, we get a lot of people coming over because it's time for graduation. So December and May are pretty busy. But just since you've been there, Dr. Washington, I know it fluctuates each month depending on what people need and so how many are awarded. But we can go back possibly and send that out just so that you can see the past couple of years how many students have been awarded.
Yeah. And the second part of that question, are graduating seniors given priority? Today, that's all I worked on was graduating seniors. We had other students that, when they called, I'm like, hey, I'm going to work on yours tomorrow. But today was the day that students had to be cleared for graduation. So every application that we had for a student who was graduating in December became our priority. So I guess the answer to that is yes. They are given priority.
Okay. And then we have a question about money being sent tonight, Dr. Washington. So if you can just answer that one.
So you can send money to our PayPal address. You can send it via Cash App. Those are the two ways that you can give tonight, or you can call the office tomorrow. But whenever it is that you give, just make sure that you denote that those funds are for the Dire Needs Scholarship. So I'll put that information in the chat.
Thank you. We do have, do you have any, Shannon, our parliamentarian is on to give the announcements, unless you have something else.
Nope, that was it. What she's about to announce.
Okay.
So
Can you announce about the athletic requests that you sent out? You were asking me about that.
I'm so sorry. That is on my list.
Okay.
So once again, thank you. I think that our alumni is just the absolute best. We put out a call so that we could assist the women's basketball team, and almost immediately, we were getting cash apps. People have called the office. I talked to a few people yesterday. So basically, our women's basketball team is traveling to Hawaii on Friday. Their game is on Saturday. And thanks to Board of Director Jennifer Trice, it was brought to our attention that they were traveling. And over the weekend, like Sunday, literally in a chat, she came up with a plan and we executed, and we are raising monies for them. Now, I want to encourage you, if for some reason you didn't see the email, you can still give. The email is in your inbox. You can Cash App, PayPal. You can call the office tomorrow if you want to. Some people called today and told me they've already mailed a check, and that we should be receiving it by tomorrow. Now, if you're going to mail a check, you need to let us know, because the goal is for us to have all of the funds collected by tomorrow so that we can take care of the things that we need to take care of. And I do want to point out that all of this has been approved by the athletic department. We're not violating any NCAA rules, because we don't do that at the UAPB National Alumni Association. So I just want to encourage everyone who can to please consider donating to the women's basketball team. This is not just about helping them to get to Hawaii. This is about the fact that while they're in Hawaii, UAPB will be on a national stage, and that just gives our university a greater level of visibility. We may attract some students who decide they want to come to UAPB. So once again, I'll put the Cash App and the PayPal in the chat, and we encourage everyone, no amount is too small. We just want to be able to support them while they are in Hawaii.
And please note what it's for when you send that, because Dr. Chandra and Chanel can't read minds. And so we want to make sure that that money that you are wanting to go for the Hawaii trip for the basketball team is directed to them. Thank you, Dr. Washington. And I know Chanel is our administrative assistant. She was on earlier. She had to hop off, but we really appreciate all the work you're doing in our office. So we have our parliamentarian, Shannon Hendricks, on. She is multitasking, so she cannot come on camera, but she does have two announcements to make. And so we want to invite her on to do so.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening to the association. Please excuse me being off camera. I'm in a shared space, and if you hear something that you shouldn't hear, please just ignore it, and hopefully it won't happen before I finish these announcements. But one, I just want to thank everyone who took the opportunity to let their voice be heard with our board of director elections for 2024. We had 3 regions with vacancies that will be available or open as of the end of this year. And that was in the Central region. We had 1 vacancy. In the Great Lakes Eastern Seaboard region, there were 2 vacancies coming open. And in the Far West, we had 3 vacancies available. So I would like to announce tonight that for the Central region, we had 1 candidate on the ballot, and that was the successful candidate, Ms. Tahira Buford, who is currently serving on the board as an appointee. In 2024, she will start her term, which is a 3-year term, and come January 1st, 2025. For the Great Lakes Eastern Seaboard region, there were 2 vacancies, and there were also 2 candidates on the ballot. Tyree Webster from the Washington, D.C. Metro Alumni Chapter and Dr. Yvette White from the Metro Atlanta Alumni Chapter. And those were both our elected board of directors for 2025 through 2027. They will also start January 1st, 2025. For the Far West region, we did receive some write-in candidates. We did not receive any nominations for those areas. However, at this time, the nominating committee, because of the plurality vote that we have with the association, the nominating committee is going to allow the executive committee and the board chair president to go through those, check to see if they are interested, those that are eligible based on their location and their activity in an active alumni chapter. And if there are some who will be eligible, they will be contacted. Otherwise, those appointments will also come from the board in 2025. And those were the new board of directors for 2025 through 2027 will be their term of service. Congratulations to our appointee, Tyree Webster is also a current appointee in 2024, and welcome Dr. Yvette White to the board as well. That concludes our board of elections for our board of directors. We also this year is an election year for our executive committee. With our executive committee for the National Association, eligible candidates are those who are elected board members who are currently serving on the board based on our bylaws. So this year, the candidates for those positions were President Tanisha Thompson, first vice president submission was Dr. Ashia Muhammad, and second vice president submission was Philip Williams. We did not have any submissions from the current elected board members for the positions of recording secretary and parliamentarian. Those were the other 2 elected board positions. So based on, once again, plurality vote of the current board of directors, congratulations to President Tanisha Thompson, first vice president Dr. Ashia Muhammad, and second vice president Philip Williams. Those other positions will be appointed by the president board chair and approved by the sitting board of directors in 2025. Those were the elections for the 2024 year. Thank you, Madam President, and congratulations to all nominees.
Thank you so much, Parliamentarian Hendricks. Does anyone have any questions? Well, congratulations to our new board members and our officers. I'm very, very grateful and so proud and excited for our 2025 year. Okay, we are at the end, and I believe we had a few questions that were not answered. Very, very good questions. I'm going to ask, I see your hand, Mr. Thompson, so if you can come off mute and ask your question, and then Ms. LaDonna, if you can let us know the questions that were not answered.
Okay, thanks everyone, and excuse me for not being on video tonight. but it's not so much of a question. It's just notice that touring group that goes to a lot of the HBCUs from the Cincinnati area is looking to show up at UAPB. And there's email that was sent out to the university. I'm not sure whose email it went to. I have to talk with the people involved that they're requesting, permission from the university for them to show up. I think it'll be sometime in March. So Lee, have the email. It went to webadmin at UAPB and also at Smith sh at uapb.edu. And it's let's see here, the name of the tour is next. Let's see here. Hold on. No Excuses College Tours. And if not, I can forward the email that I received to the contacts to make sure that you have that information.
Thank you so much,
But,
Mr. Thompson.
but UAPB is one of the schools that they're looking to visit.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, are you able to get in the chat? Mr. Riggins is asking you to email him that information. He put his email address.
Yes, I could do that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay. Secretary LaDonna, do we have any other questions that were not answered? I believe one from Ms. Collins was there. Okay, perfect.
Yes, we have two questions that have not been answered. The first one is for the recruitment office. The question is, does the recruitment office also assist students who are in touch with the athletic department? And if so, are they assigned a contact from the recruitment office to help guide the student through the admissions process?
Yes, excuse me. Yes, we do. Excuse me. We do work with the athletic department, and just try to be a liaison to get the prospective student connected to the athletic program. And we do that often, actually. But once they get to the coach, it's up to the coach to kind of take it from there. And so, but yes, so we do that.
Thank
Was
you.
there a part two to that question?
Yeah, the second part to that question was, does the recruitment office or is that student assigned a person from the recruitment office to assist them with navigation through the admissions process?
Yeah, so the recruitment office, the recruiters are assigned based on territory. So Mr. Person have them if it's a certain state, or even in the state of Arkansas, if it's a certain county. That's how they are assigned. And so once that prospective student contact our office, the Office of Recruitment, then that particular recruiter will work with them and kind of work them through the process from there.
Thank you. Okay. The second question that we have, we received from Maddie Collins. How much financial support do we receive from the university and the Office of Alumni Affairs?
Great question, Miss Maddie P. Collins. I'm glad that you asked that because so many people have that same question or that same assumption. So actually, those are all three different entities, and we do not receive any financial support from the university. We are responsible as an alumni association for raising our own funds, and so that's why the support of all of our alumni for our fundraisers are extremely important. Every year at homecoming, right after homecoming, I know other board members can say that this is true, or our former presidents, I'll receive the feedback, well, they gave all that money at the alumni assembly. They didn't. I love that they do that, but that none of that money goes to us. That goes for the university. And so that's why it's so important for our alumni to support our luncheon, any fundraiser we do. When we have our raffle, we did a raffle last year for a trip, the 50 under 50, the luncheon, the buying the ads, all of that is money that we use to not only support our Dire Needs Scholarship, but for our operations. And our operation includes the staff. We just heard Dr. Chandra tell y'all that they don't work full time. They're not in that office or that house 24 hours like so many people believe. But just to have them there part-time, we have to pay them. We have to keep the lights on over at the Alumni House. We have to pay the water bills, the internet, everything that we need to support a office and in a professional way. The website costs, phones costs. We have to raise, we're responsible as an alumni to raise all of those funds. So I appreciate that question. So short of it is nothing. We don't get anything from them but support. And so we need each and every one of you to help us.
Okay, received another question from Mr. Jimmy Fox. With respect to the monies being raised to support the women's basketball team, how close are we to meeting the target goal?
I'm going to have to let our director answer that if she can tonight. I'm not sure if she knows that in total.
Okay, here we go. So I actually, because y'all a Cash App is blowing up the email is what I was looking at. So thank all of you who are donating. As of right now, we have about $425 in Cash App donations. And yesterday through the office, I believe we collected $400 or $500. I have not checked today because as I mentioned, my priority today was getting those students able to graduate. So I'll be able to give a better accounting tomorrow. So I would say right now we're probably at about 800. And I know there's some checks on the way. So about 800.
Dr. Chandra, what I know we were hoping 175 per student. Is that still our goal with 25 team members?
Yes, that is still our goal. The priority was to take care of that one ticketed event they have to go to, and then
Okay.
anything other than that, we'll do the rest with it. Yes.
Okay. So if we want to know numbers, that's about $2,000 we're hoping to get for. But again, if we get the 2,000, we're very appreciative. If we get closer to the 4 to do extra, we're turning flips. I'll literally videotape myself turning the flip and send it to y'all. So please, please give, ask your chapter members to give, your family members, if we want to do something different for Christmas this year. This is a great cause. So please give. And I believe the deadline, is it still tomorrow, Dr.
It's
Washington?
still tomorrow. And our goal is actually $4,375. That's our goal.
So we're far away from that right now, but I know we can get there. Any other questions, Ms. Board of Director LaDonna?
No, I don't have any other questions that have not been addressed, and I do not see any hands raised at this time.
I appreciate everyone that has joined in. Thank you to our presenters and our staff for supporting this event. Again, if you have a question later, you think about something tomorrow, feel free to email the office, call the office, and then they will make sure that the presenter, if they don't have the answer, the presenter can reach back out and give you those answers. Also, in the next week or so, be looking for an email with all of these flyers that were discussed tonight, or the touch points that were discussed tonight, and also the application for our 50 under 50. And I believe our last thing, and we will share that document from the retention and the recruitment office In January, you will receive an email inviting you to pay your dues at our new fee. We'll also be inviting you to join those open committees that are taking alumni members, and we want you to share those again with your chapter members and your fellow alumni. So I believe that that's all. There was one question I saw in Recording Secretary LaDonna. I don't know if you saw it, and Ms. Morton or somebody may have answered that, about how do we get them to pay their dues locally and nationally? Was that answered? And if not, we'll definitely answer that.
Yeah,
But
I know Jennifer did respond in the
okay,
chat
perfect.
to that
Okay,
question.
perfect. Great. I just want to encourage everyone to ask, just simply ask your chapter members, ask your fellow alumni circles to pay their alumni dues. You see how important it is for us to have those funds, and you see what we're doing with the funds. So it's really an ask, but that is something that as an alumni association board, we're going to look at that, where we can have those connected. And the bigger picture for me is, if you're in any other organization, your sorority or fraternity, you can't be in your local chapter and you haven't paid the national. So we need to some kind of way make our association connected to that. We love that you're active locally, but we really, really, really need you to be active on a national level, because it all connects and we're the top umbrella for that. So just be looking in 2025 for more information on that. So, okay, it's the holiday time. I know we're all exhausted. We're all busy. It's been a long night. I appreciate you getting on. Thank you so much. And we're going to end this call. Thank you, and talk to you soon.
Good night,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Night.
Good evening, everyone.
Good night. Thank you. Happy holidays to everybody.
You too. Somebody was watching the news.